One of the things that's the biggest damaging thing to a home today is water.
This is Elegant Homes with Don Reilly. Each week, get expert advice from Don Reilly that's straightforward, making sure you're not taken advantage of. Powered by CFI and by Marshall Chevrolet in Carrollton, Kentucky.
Welcome back to Elegant Homes. I'm your host, Don Reilly, where we make every home elegant, one home at a time. You know, it's been a very hot 2 weeks, and it's very interesting. This week I had the opportunity to do a job, and I tell you, I pulled my ladder out and I got on these folks' roof and got into the gutters, and man, they were a mess. I don't know if you've ever had to clean gutters, folks, but I've been up in some very nasty roofs that had nasty gutters. These were bad. I was pulling nuts, tree limbs, branches out of these things. What was very interesting is I stuck my hand down in the 3x4 downspout and just pulled all this gunk out. I mean, it was just nasty. And you're doing this with your bare hands. I recommend that you use gloves, but I'm just a trooper and I'm pulling this stuff out. I mean, it's just nasty. And people wonder why their gutters aren't flowing. And you're not getting the proper water flow and you're having water issues. This is why you always get up there and check those gutters. And especially if you have the old spikes and ferrules with the nail going through them and they're pulling away from the house, make sure you go up and sure those up really good and nail those in. And make sure that, you get those gutters nice and tight against the fascia boards. Clean those things out and run you a hose up there. I always like to take a blower up, blow everything out real good, get all the stuff out of there, and then take me a hose and just spray them down. Let the water just soak in those gutters and run down those downspouts and go into the drainage in your yard. And just make sure they're flowing good, everything's going good, because sometimes those 3x4 downspouts get a little clogged up and you just have issues. But it's hot. Last thing most people want to be doing is up on a ladder, and reaching in those gutters and getting nasty. But one of the things I recommend is check out one of our products that we just love, love, love here at Elegant Homes, and that is our Leaf Relief system. Leaf Relief is a great product. There's a couple different styles of Leaf Relief out there. You can go with the cheaper brand. I always recommend using the best, and that's Leaf Relief. And those actually screw on top of the gutters. They come in 10-foot sections, and you actually lay those on top of the gutter, and they actually screw down to the gutter. And everything's perforated, so that's going to keep you from having leaves and gunk and, sticks and branches go inside the gutters, and it's going to prevent you from having to go in there and clean those out. Now, the good news is the wintertime, same story. The only bad news is when you put a topper on your gutter, you're going to get a little ice cubing, what I call ice cubing, and that's where some water that will freeze on the gutter and hang from the gutter. It happens to everybody's gutter. It's really a normal thing. But when you have a topper on there, there's nowhere for the water to go, so it comes right over the side of the gutter, and you will have some icicles and, hanging. But don't be alarmed. That's normal. Everybody has it. And of course, once it warms back up, those go away, but it does not hurt the gutters at all. But that's about the only downside to a Leaf Relief system. So that is kind of the tip of the day. So if you're out there and you got some gutters that are clogged up, get you some Leaf Relief. I always recommend that right here at Elegant Homes. But we're talking about the heat. The heat is bad this week. I was just talking with the producer, Tony. The heat is just, it's bearing out there in these high temperatures. We're having to stay hydrated. I'm just going to give you a little glimpse of my day. I mean, as a home improvement guy, we're constantly going. We never stop from early in the morning to late in the evening. We're still here tonight doing the podcast. So we're always busy, but we're taking care of our customers. That's number one. We're always making sure our customers are happy. And that takes a lot of hours and a lot of dedication. And that's one of the things we're very proud of here. But, we're out there with the crews today, and I'm loading up our 14-foot trailer, and we're taking that to the dump. If you've ever been to the dump, it's a dump. And it's stinky, it's hot, it's nasty. You're walking in filth. I mean, and you're pulling up to that old nasty part of the dump where it smells and there's trash and it's just nasty. There's animals, birds flying, and it just smells to high heaven. And of course, the COVID mask helps in those situations. So I recommend wearing your COVID mask to the dump. So I had my COVID mask on. I don't want to breathe that stuff. thank God that I don't have to unload the trailer like I did years ago. Now we actually have a mechanical lift on the actual trailer, lifts the trailer up and everything comes falling out of it. We're grateful for that we can afford to have one of those here. Used to, you pulled up, you had the trailer, you're unloading everything by hand, you're in 100-degree weather, you're sweating, it's nasty. So these are the things and the obstacles that we go through as home improvement guys. And, the average person doesn't realize it, but when you're at the dump and it's 100 degrees and that smell's hitting you in the face and you're just unloading stuff, you are very grateful. And I'm looking at my producer, Tony, as I say this, for that dump. Pull that lever and that thing slides up. You use, it's automatic. You push a button, it raises up, everything falls out, close everything back up, and boy, you're out of there, and you're out with a flash. So you pay your fee and you're gone. So we're very grateful, but we go to the dump today, we dump everything, and then we're back to another job site. I mean, going from 6:30 this morning, the whole day's just busy. And the other thing, so we'll go to a deck job, and the guys are tearing a deck down this morning. We go straight from a deck job to a siding job, and they're just tearing all this beadboard off, putting new soffit, fascia. If you've got wood, soffit, and fascia, everybody has this problem. You'll have woodpeckers, and they put holes, and they are destructive, folks. Woodpeckers are destructive. So we're replacing all these eaves and soffit and fascia with new vinyl wrap, and we're doing coil stock. We're wrapping all the fascia and gables with metal. And this just looks so nice when it's done. And guess what? Woodpeckers will no longer attack your home. You're making the top of your house maintenance free. And if you're like these folks that we were at today, they had a 3-story house. So you're in 100-degree weather on a ladder 3 stories in the air, and that heat is just cooking. And you're standing on those pole jacks, which are probably 115 degrees with the heat. And it's just hot up there. So these guys are working their tails off, making sure that this homeowner's taken care of. So we go from the deck job to the siding job. Then we go all the way over to Bellevue, Kentucky to a house flip that we're doing over there. And I walk in and we're gutting stuff. I mean, we're gutting the walls, we're gutting doors. I mean, you got stuff flying, saws ripping, sawzalls ripping. I mean, we're just going at it. So very, very busy day. And, I tell people on a day-to-day venture in the home improvement business, one of my favorite sayings is I always say, another day at the office. And that it's pretty much what it is. If you check into a 9 to 5, it's another day at your office. Well, in the home improvement business, it's the same thing. It's just we're going into sometimes a mess or a situation that's not the cleanest, and you got to protect yourself. But the nice thing is in the home improvement business is like I tell people as always, it's very good right now. The business is good. So if you're not busy in the home improvement business right now, something's not right. And I'm telling you, the guys that aren't busy aren't doing the business right. They're not working the business. They're letting the business work them, because we are busy right now. And one of the things I like to talk about, as always, we like to educate you as the listener. If you listen to our podcast, we want to educate you. And we want to tell you about the guys out there, what I call the fly-by-nights, the guys that aren't doing business well. They're taking advantage right now of homeowners that, because business is so good, they can charge what they want. Everybody's home, so they're all walking around looking at their homes. They know they need things done, and these are the guys that are they're stepping up to the table. Instead of taking $1, they're taking $6, and it's just not right. And we got to stop these people. This is the part of the show that everyone loves. We call it hammer time.
It's hammer time.
And you got to put the hammer down on these guys. Just heard of another story of a lady who lives locally here. And she hired a guy, 6-7 months ago. She's still working on this case. It's been in court for quite some time. And she hired him to do the basement. He came in, he flooded the basement. He hit a pipe when he was in the basement and flooded her whole basement. It was probably, $300,000-$400,000 home. It was just built. She had an unfinished basement. He's remodeling the basement. She paid him thousands of dollars. He floods the basement, brings a restoration guy in, charges her over $35,000 to do all this restoration work, mold remediation and all this. Collects the money for that. She never sees the guy again. She can't find him. And here's what I tell you, folks. Do your due diligence. I tell people, not all these people have the credentials. Check the credentials out. That is so important in this industry today. And I can't tell you and plead with you enough. Do your due diligence, because this is your hard-earned money that you're spending to do this project. And like I always say, don't waste it. because a lot of times what happens is these people come in and they take advantage of the situation. And just like this lady I talked to a couple days ago that this happened to, she's got a great spirit about her. She still believes in contractors. And she told me, she goes, I've done a lot of research on your company and we're looking really hard at you guys doing our project. She goes, I know you guys aren't the same people that we dealt with that did this to us, but she goes, I have to get this case wrapped up in court before I can move on. But she goes, I have not lost my faith in good contract. They're still out there. And she goes, I believe you're one of them. And that brings a lot of meaning to us because we've done a lot of hard work and we've laid the foundation to where people can trust in us. And that is huge in this business. And there's not a lot of people out there today in this business that have been around for a few 24 hours that can tell you that they've laid down the footwork and they've put the effort in. And we are the real deal, folks. We have done it. And I'm honored to sit here as the president of this company and tell you on this podcast that anybody that works in this company is putting in 110%. And I mean that with all my heart. And that starts at the top and it works it all the way down to the guy at the ground picking up stuff off the floor. So from the top to the bottom, we're always making sure you're taken care of. And that's so, so important to us. You know, and as we travel around this great city of ours and all around these different towns that we do work, one of the things that's consistent is we deal with good people. Always, the homeowners always, I mean, most of the homeowners we deal with are just good people and they just want a good job. And you can't ask for no more than that in the home improvement business because you hear these stories, they're nightmare stories, and that's why we do Hammer Time here on the podcast. But I'm telling you, 90%, we don't always hear these stories. 90% of the people out there that are in this business are good people just like us. I'm not talking bad about any of the other companies because there's some great companies out there that we compete against all the time. I like competitors. It's healthy. I like people that do good work. I praise anybody, especially here on the podcast, that does good work. You know, and I'm not afraid to say it. Champion Windows, bravo. They do a great job. Champion's a great company. Gilkey Windows, great companies. I praise those guys because they go out and they do good work. I'm not going to tell you the bad ones, but they're out there. And, you know, we don't even like to give them any kind of reference or shout out because we're not going to do that. But I will tell you this, the good ones, we're going to talk about them all day. And that's why Elegant Homes strives to make sure that you're happy with every job. And we're doing every home, one home every time elegant. We're making it elegant every time because we care about our customers. We'll be right back. Elegant Home with your host, Don Reilly. One of the things I like to talk about is my guys over at CFI. They are some of the best when it comes to carpet installation, linoleum, ceramic, maybe even you need that new tile or hardwood in your home. These guys are the best. I always recommend CFI because they do a quality installation and they always show up on time and they're always very courteous to me and my wife at our home. If you're looking for some of the best guys in the installation business, look no further than CFI. These guys are the best. You can reach them at cfiinstallation.com. Once again, that's cfiinstallation.com. Also, you got to stop out and see Rob and the gang out there at Marshall Chevrolet. These guys are great. If you're looking for that new Equinox, maybe that new Chevy Silverado or Trailblazer, stop out and see Rob and the gang out there at Marshall Chevrolet. They'll really hook you up. They got a great service team. They'll get you in, roll you out, and make sure that you tell them Don Reilly with Elegant Homes sent you.
You're locked into Elegant Homes, powered by CFI. For all your flooring needs, cfiinstallation.com and by Marshall Chevrolet in Carrollton, Kentucky.
Welcome back to Elegant Homes. I'm your host, Don Reilly. One of the things that's the biggest damaging thing to a home today is water. Water is bad. In my experience and my professionalism, water runs 15 feet in each direction. And sometimes we go to a call, someone will call and say, have a leak in the bedroom or a dining room. And we'll go to the house and we'll look straight above that leak and we'll go straight to the roof and there'll be no damage there. And we're like, it's just puzzling. We're like, and I'll look at my right-hand guy, Todd Belt, and I'll say, Todd, where's that coming from? So we'll have to crawl in the attic and you'll be amazed. Listen up, perk your ears up a little bit right now. I'm going to give you some valuable information. Don't always go above the leak. Sometimes go to the left or the right of the leak. And I'll tell you why. Water runs 15 feet in each direction. We'll go up in that attic, and that leak could be in your dining room, okay, on the bottom floor of your house, if your house is 2 stories. The water is actually coming from the left side of the house, coming from a small leak on a fascia board, gutter, or maybe a sewage boot, and it's coming down the wall. It's hitting a 2x4 inside your wall, hitting that 2x4 and turning a quick right 15 feet and coming right in your dining room. And the only reason I know this is because we go in and we trace water in the attic. Sometimes you'll notice it even come down a board. It could be leaking on the right side of the house. You get up in the rafters, you shine light. We have it's like a 6,000 candle watt light that we put up in the attic. And we'll actually see that water run straight down that 2x4, come right across, go down the scissor part of the 2x4 where it branches off into the gable of the roof, and it comes down that gable and can drop on the opposite side of that house and start a leak. And people don't even realize, they think it's coming from straight from the roof, and it could be coming from a gutter, a fascia board. So you got to do a little homework when you got water leaks, and they are a mystery always. I was in a guy's house today, and he had a leak in his garage. He shows me the leak. It's in the center of his wall, And he's telling me it's coming from the fascia board outside of the gutter. So I get up there, look at the fascia board. It's nice and sealed. Got a roll form aluminum all the way around. It's got caulk at the top, caulk at the bottom. Guess where this was leaking? It was leaking from his flashing on the side of the house. Get up on the house, the last piece of flashing on his roof was gone. Water was coming in there, going straight down the wall and turning left and coming right into that wall, right in the center of his wall. And he's like, how'd you find that? And I'm like, well, you look at the place, it's not the obvious. And you just learn that over years and years of being in this business. The other thing I want to talk about is basements, flooding. Water is so destructive. We have a property that we were flipping, and I'm telling you, we actually had water coming in from all four sides of this property. Could not figure out where it was coming from. And it was actually seeping down the foundation wall, and coming in through the foundational mortar joints, and was just flooding the basement every time it rained real hard. So we actually had to go in and brought in a witch ditch and dug out the foundation wall all the way down to the bottom of the foundation. We made a path all the way around that foundation. We filled it with crushed 411 gravel. We put new piping down in there. We put PVC piping, ventilated with cloth on it. And then we covered that back up with crushed 411. And then we filled the top in with concrete and put a sub pump in. Do you know that took away that problem? We no longer have any water issues. Water is so destructive. Catch it before it destroys the home and can destroy the foundation walls. Just word to the wise, water, if it continues to come inside the house, it will destroy the house. And people do not realize that. And really, you need an expert in water to come in and really tell you. Not every roofer, not every contractor is suited for this type of what I call education to explain to the homeowner, because a lot of guys are just roofers. They're just siding guys. They're just foundation guys. But over 22 years of being in this business, me, Todd, and our salespeople here have been trained how to find water in your home and where it's coming from. Now, we're not perfect at all times. I mean, there's ones that have baffled me, been on jobs that have baffled me, but guess what? We're always going to get you that person that can find out where it's coming. If I can't get it for you, I'm going to find you somebody that can, because I have guys that are even better at it than I am. So never fear, Elegance here. We're always going to take care of you and make sure that your home is always protected. And we put that shield around your home that's always going to make sure that you don't have water issues. And last but not least, let's talk about sealing the house up. Winter's coming. It won't be long, and we'll be right back in the cold weather. And a lot of times, we just talked about all these water issues. Let's talk about sealing that house up, getting those old windows recaulked for the winter time, making sure all your siding is nice and tight on the house, and you don't have any siding that is coming loose off. So make sure you do a 360 walk around. I always recommend, in the fall, go around your house and just, look at the water spigots. Make sure they're not old and you don't need to replace them. Look at your bibs, all these things in your home. Look at your window seals. Make sure nothing's rotten. The wood's not rotten. Check your porch out, porch ceilings. I always tell people, make sure your porch ceilings doesn't have cracks, crevices, holes in it where animals can get in there. There's a lot of things that animals do too, and we'll talk about that on another episode on the podcast, but animals are very destructive too, like water is, but we won't go into that now, but animals can do a lot of damage, so we'll save that for another episode. But make sure you button your house up for the winter time. Winter will be here before you know it. I know we're talking about 100-degree weather now, but before you know it, winter will be here. So we're just 3, 4, 5 months away for wintertime. So we are always excited to teach you and show you how to do that, to button your house up and prevent you from having any kind of further damage on your home. As always, I'm Don Reilly. I'm your host, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Elegant Homes.